Carolina, and I am the host of Sincerely Carolina, a series of educational conversations about current social issues with local and international experts. Make sure you tune in every Saturday on Cool FM from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Bye! Bon dia! Happy Saturday! Mita espera ko batatating bong simang. Anto kay totoo simang produktibo, whatever that means for you. Rasinti man yung simang hindi mas largo, no? So, simang prometo to partiko. So, definitely contento ko tayo sabra. Nami ko ta reminders lang kung may remind po. So, di jile. So, thank you to P&G. Ang tadankin na Neutrogena. But awesome sponsors, this is Sincerely Carolina, and allowing me to talk about whatever I want to talk about. Thank you so much. Também me quero agora bolsa pensar que o último weekend de conexão com Ilumina Fonts Strat Collecta, des please tenha paciência. A mim mesmo indo volunteer rato, although me to volunteering to the weekend ang aqui just in office, so me to vai tariba kaya awe. Ando me lo post my stories where I'm at. So pasa do na donation. May ready no sa cobra, so please by all means to flooding the conta. No pressure, but a little. So, yeah. Anyways, other than that, awe no sabay papia, kiriba topiko, kumikar karo, bosa tour, panosa nice, okay, si bota ding comment sections ng pensados biya, si boting pensadi comment algo no nice. That's basically it. Bangka respetuoso y nice y ta okay paano sin diferencia de opinión anto kalke ko susa po mesong plataforma pa vocifera po diferencia de opinión me just karabisa essay. O reminder dami ko sa live riba Facebook y riba YouTube y no worry si mo no per escucha el resto de episode po subuting ba fa auto af po tabayendo un camina bo por sempre wake episode back riba YouTube riba Facebook y tami mo por escuchar on streaming platforms like Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So do not worry about that. Anyways, without further ado, meeting dos guests. Woohoo! Anto, may tabaylagan ang introducing ng mes in a little bit. Anto, we will go into our fun conversations. Hello, buen dia.
Buen dia.
Hi, kumbay.
Bong, how are you?
Doing alright?
Sí, okay, me pidi ko papi. Tiki más cerca di mic.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, there we go.
See now?
Sí. No, la banda. That's me. Hise. Tiki más. Yes.
Okay.
You're fine.
Okay, I'm fine.
All right. So, nasting. By the way, si bosta new to Sincerely Carolina, then most of my guests may feel new. Pero, may nakibis kong recycled gas. Pero,
Wow. Hi, we're recycled.
pero, Robert ni Lotte no to Sincerely Carolina, and that is a good thing. Sige naman kami appreciate bo so
There's longevity.
conversations, right?
Having us again.
Sí, pensei me quero boso na nila gami cabe display que mo ter que men ko no ko boso ta recycled, but it's a good thing. It's a create Sincerely Carolina relationship anto pensei no stay awe atrobe pa have conversations about topics that we care about.
Amazing.
We do?
You see? Ha, patawag? So, it's importante pa no escucha. All right. Lotte, portavo por introduce mo mas pa eso nang no conocebo.
Of course.
And just tell them a little bit about yourself.
Mijn naam is Lotte. Ik ben projectleider educatie en programmering na Cultura pa Kasi dos Anjakabar. Ik studeer na Amsterdam met een bachelor in social work and arts. Mahasis cultureel maatschappelijke vorming. Mino nasa na aruba pero malantik nang si mabing kinang kudusong aya. So here na the joke with a hybrid. So I guess I fit into both things. You wanna go?
Sure. My name is Robert Anjie. I'm currently working as marketing manager na un local manufacturer of windows and doors. I'm currently doing freelance project coordinating anto mi hay proyecto patrabajo to Lotte ribong otro proyecto de Kasi Cultura trobe.
Yeah, si es aquí no un proyecto nuevo. Y me tengo visa que me está siendo contento para Kasi Cultura activo en general. Me está haciendo más y más.
Thank you for noticing.
Yeah, I do notice. Lo que pienso que me está hoping aware de mi community. Anto me está sintiendo que algo hobby positivo discutir un rap tanto que tem proyecto ng kung bisa agregar na diferente área ng eigenlijk di desarrollo de nossa comunidade. So thank you for that. Pero sí, nós temos papel eigenlijk tocante Pride Month a little bit e sowieso com Kasi Cultura também contribuir na isa aqui of proyecto ng continue going on. Dus minasa whomever wants to go, and I will chime in of course, pero mitikire ko portating hina ng ko no sa kiko Pride Month ta of pakiko überhaupt yung Pride Month ipakiko locally tambe ting diferente actividad ng celebration ng pero tambe awareness campaigns etc. going on related to a topic. Des minasa si unibosa tingana di eigenlijk explica tiki kiko Pride Month ta, and we will talk a little bit about the upcoming stuff.
You said that you read about it, so
Yes,
please tell me what you read.
Well, I didn't specifically read about it. I saw some YouTube videos.
Bawak videos na.
Yes, exactly. So, like you said, Carolina, June is coming up.
Yes.
And that means it's going to be International Pride Month.
Mm-hmm.
All over the world, people are going to be celebrating, showing who they are, and being free as they are. And what Pride is trying to say is you're allowed to be who you are. You're allowed to celebrate who you are. And it wasn't always a celebration. For specifically a specific community, we're talking about the LGBTQIA plus community.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't always that you were able to be yourself and express who you are or express the love you have for someone of the same or the opposite sex.
Mm-hmm.
So it started out, Pride actually started out as a protest, back in the day.
Indeed.
It started as a protest with the Stonewall riots.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
Yes, no,
And,
it was a bar in New York in 1996, I believe. No, 69. Sorry.
69, yes.
And it started with a lot of protests from because the police would enter these gay bars and just drag everybody out, and these people feeling like they had no space to go and like they weren't allowed to be there as well, and just people getting very, very fed up with that. And then
it wasn't like legally allowed,
It wasn't
Exactly.
legally allowed in the majority, if not all the states. Homosexual acts were illegal.
Exactly.
You were not allowed to, so for example, gather together or show affection to the same
dress clothes. Yes, dress clothes that is not considered to be, and that also had a lot to do with like women even wearing pants, for example. So there was a lot going on the restriction of people being
And the Stonewall Inn was like they compared it. They had the analogy that it was a watering hole where the LGBT community did have a place to come together, but they also had a bar, and it wasn't they weren't legally allowed to sell hard liquor, but they did it anyways. But the police kept targeting this specific group over and over, so it was kind of systematic. So at a certain point, the community came together and said, you know what, it's enough. It's enough. We're coming together. We are standing for our right. We are taking up space. We are allowed to be who we are. We are allowed to dress how we want to dress, express ourselves how we want to express, and most importantly, we're allowed to love who we are. We want to love.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's how the first Christopher Reeve Gay Liberation Front group and protest started back in 1969.
And from these came all these pillars that we still know in the modern day and age, who we will also be celebrating just a little bit in a special way.
We will be celebrating all these heroic efforts and these people that fought and protested so that anybody today can express and love who they are and who they want to be with.
Yes.
And slowly it changed from protests. Slowly throughout the year it changed from protest to celebration. And that's how Pride came to be, from a protest, and now it's a reason to celebrate who you are without fear.
And yes, but we all know que a situação real nota onde que they imagined it would be at this point in time, right? Dus mi te quiere pa porta contesta a pergunta, a rhetorical question that I am sure many people are asking but why do you have to continue celebrating it, right? Yeah, pues logra local ko supuestamente pues está chiaro, whatever, pa ki começar keep celebrating. In realidad pa sobre ko quieto bai nos nota onde ko nos está supposita como un society.
Nós não
Nós
nos
temos
quieta
hope room for
Mhm.
improvement. We can still improve, nós por seguir vai dilante.
Correto.
Ainda tem lugar na que o pabisa e grupo de LGBT não porta fully themselves of expressar não mes sem haya diferente tipo de cara of slurs or tirar contra
Yes.
Tem que sair do caminho no mundo, though.
Sim.
I don't think there's a super open-minded country where everybody is just themselves. Like asa na Holanda, middel bi in Amsterdam, and still there was hate, and that is the most open-minded city in the world supposedly, and still there. So
Correcto.
it's also hard to be gay here.
So
Yes.
pride is basically a reason to take up space. Take up space and celebrate who you are. Mostra quem bota e não ter miedo.
You have conversations around
You
it.
have conversation about it.
Educate.
Então,
Yep.
educar que ko ta biba e come de LGBT community basura apesar que é tão minority group, pero nós queda parte da comunidade em geral.
Correcto. Y
And that's the word. It's a community. It's coming together.
Mhm.
It's knowing that there's other people like you out there who are going through the same things and finding support in each other and finding love in each other.
Mhm.
It's supposed to be the most loving place, that community.
Definitely.
So it is, it is not where, and I say supposed to be because I adamantly believe in, human rights, period, and that we don't get to pick and choose whose human rights are more important than, somebody else's. Des ora come bisa ko eta supposita enota ni about ko nos lokiar pa eta miho of nos lokiar pa eta mas nice of more inclusive eta ko to gewoon supposita de un mundo onde ko torhena tin direito pa existir ita quem não querta, right? E din hopi area nang onde ko nos nota ono so supposita. I get that. Which is why this month is important. Panos para quieto riba how far, the fight has come. Celebrate that, pero also una ainda falta. So, kiko na sa wak hopi durante el luna akita rainbow flags everywhere.
Lots of rainbows everywhere.
Everywhere, right? Hobby campaigns lang, the brands, the stores lang tapay participa na esaki to a certain extent. I hobby biya extent ta kunang ta rainbow wash, right? Nata po na hobby rainbows on
Yes.
everything.
On everything.
Yay, gays.
See, basically, that is the sentiment. Yup. Después voy a coger também gewoon share hobby cos, pero esta onda tem substance to it, right? Onda de verdade nós está tendo conversação não erover, conversação não sano, me dá espera, onda que de verdade nós escuta e compreende.
Compreender e dialogar.
Juist.
At the kibuta hasi pa resto di aya kami. Not just in June.
Not just in June.
Not just in June. We're here all year.
No, Lotte.
Not a seasonal thing, guys.
Ama querer botão tá sendo de onde yeni.
We come out of this rainbow-colored closet every June, and then we go back.
Pero
Sí.
because this was the Halloween, Mariah carried to return from the ocean was to celebrate Christmas.
It is
Yes,
defrosting.
and Michael
Because
Bublé as
defrost
well.
was
Sí,
this
Michael
was-
Bublé
this was
también, sí,
June.
totally.
June 1, rainbows everywhere.
And then we
Sí.
freeze them back on
And then we freeze them
January
back.
1st. Okay.
Sí.
Oh, that's gays too. I'm glad we're here to inform this
Sí.
public.
No, pero sí, lo cual que vos a compartir to hobby importante me te quiere pa dar context into why there are going to be more events, and to why there are going to be more conversations about it. Probablemente não sabe wak hobby cos na riba social media também, and também share. Some people might get triggered for so many different reasons. E me diz que era bisa torhena também ko ding sa Sir Carolina nós vai have different types of conversations during the month. Nós vai touch riba diferente area nang, pero me quero pa henesa, khalo ko ta okay pa mane bosinti porta tiki triggered of pa bosinti mane
A little bit of
fastioso.
discomfort.
Yes.
It's okay. You don't have to have the same opinion. Just
No.
be open about it, and don't shut yourself off from the conversation, because we're willing to have the conversation also.
Yes. Antes say the cause. Ku nos está honesto with that reality, right? And it's the same about so many other things. So it's important for us to be human and realize that there are things that are a little bit more interesting, or that we care more about, and therefore we have we spend more time researching and learning about. And there are things that don't touch us personally, maybe, so we don't really care about it, and then it's in our face, and then we're like, okay, what do I have to do with this? So it's probably gonna be like that in the coming month for some people. Anto me diz que arbisa turhene ko his but yung tiki tempo iba open for it, learn a little bit about why tem luna erover. Tem mesmo discussão que nós tínhamos, por exemplo, para que tem luna de dia de mulher, por exemplo, right? E essa sobre que hopi abai din town na nossa awe e local ko falta ainda. So it's not that we think that this group is special and requires like extra attention or whatever. Ito ko gewoon ting conversations to be had. Kaya to buy about it, right? In Aruba, not diferente. Of course. So, mina sa si você gani share tiki de kiko ta a type of events ko hende por verwacht vooral, vanuit Casa Cultura.
We can only speak for ourselves.
Yes.
Pero misa ko tayo ay pasando sa yung like un Pride Month calendar tambe ko to evento nang ko tatoranti is like like being junto on that calendar. Si misa mamuat na post ay kumanisi
at the loading.
Si
you were asking
Pride
about it,
event pabulagan ng sa tao pa nang poni ba calendar pa no yung full Pride Month again. Pero for now, I think we can only speak for our own events.
Pero queda pendiente pa e calendar aqui na anto analisa e calendar aqui ando waki cultura evento tabay ting ando keep an open mind di pambisita unye evento ng aqui ando panos por siyon tiki mas siyon conhecer e hinenan de comunidad. So essa é a bedoeling de Pride Month pabo siyon conhecer kente community ando siyon tiki over mas di jele sing ting yung type of discrimination.
Yeah, speaking of an open mind, tell us about the events. Because that's a nice bridge you got there.
Well, ito na is pa sobre Casa Cultura pa di 3 anos tabay ita tuma parte di International Pride Month ko su celebration from what started to a small events ding a lobby di Casa Cultura awara ki to the big stage. Casa Cultura una vez más te presenta Pride on Stage 2023.
Bigger than last year.
Bigger and better than ever. Dus ito baita actividad dus mi safely bisa ko Casa Cultura ta unje promenang ding eluna pa start ko.
Yeah, I think so. I think we're kicking it off.
Well, I mean, unless but the contestants here Carolina, then
Oh, sorry. Okay, consider it kicked off right now.
See, by deze, kick off.
No, estou contente de ter do sostenedor allies maneira sincerely Carolina com o programa ng Asina aqui
Carolina.
Foster inclusion and diversity equity aqui riba Isla de Aruba. Anto padunos de Casa Cultura oportunidade para papi tiki mas de Pride on Stage.
So, allies are so important. So thank you.
Very.
We'll talk a little bit about that in a little bit as well.
Yes, good. Okay, Kiko eigenlijk de Pride on Stage. Well, maneira mabisa kapa ta di 3 anos ko Casa Cultura ta celebrando International Pride Month. Pro minha ano ta atividade chiquito com viewing de production company na New York com bem com bonita produção de baile, cantamento, música. Então nós fazíamos viewing de essa ideia lobby de Casa Cultura. Então o seguinte ano nós de hey, para que nós não take it on to the big stage. Então sai kami na Pride on Stage nasce. E para promover viaja riba escenario de Casa Cultura nós estava tem drag queens. Então essa estava algo grande para sobre promover antes essa não estava possível.
It's a new art form that we haven't had before. That was super cool.
Correcto. Sí.
Maybe you can in a little bit after Robert has a rundown the event. Explica kita di Kiko eta pa hende sa yeah. So they know what the art form is and what it entails, because I think we don't talk enough about it in the sense of it being, a performative art form. Yeah.
It is.
Well, palukwal ta art form de being a drag queen ta kung persona male te transformar su mes door de preparar se culpa pa fit dinge profile de hene mulher e perform tambe. Hopi biyahe sakita ding forma de baile, cantamento of lip syncing of fabulous outfits ng tami.
I think it's embracing your like both your masculine and your feminine side and being proud of both of those sides as well, and to celebrate those and knowing that you can perform in both, but also embodying such a different personality. Because sometimes our queens, when I see them, when I from meetings at Cultura, and then I see them on stage and I barely recognize them, because it's just such a transformation, and it's so nice to see how someone's personality just flourishes on that stage once they're in their drag performance, and that's super cool.
Sí, a mí también algo super great y bonito, pero para mí it's somehow still a protest.
For sure. Anto,
It's a protest di mostra ko, hey, ser masculino porta feminine de su manera tambe e expressar su mesa assim na inan tambe. O sea, quanto tempo eta toma para drag queens na aqui preparar das vestimenta de paia, das provavelmente com laga coisa paia, preparar paia, sapato, me everything, you name it, e make-up, e preparamento de nang wig tambe, e show ko nanta hinka den outro, anto no kani kora liba e heel chi halto nang ko nanta baile liba je.
You've tried them.
I've tried.
Good.
Sí, dus
alto tang art form rin sa mes.
And try doing a death drop in those.
Exactly.
And try doing it in a really
heavy
tight
costume.
dress, a heavy costume, and
most
with
of the
And there's a
Also
whole
heavy.
body under it also.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's super impressive.
Sí, dus essa ka lo qual Pride on Stage abinita 13 pa maybe hari scenario nacional de Aruba no sta tating drag queens anto kiko Pride on Stage evolutionary bira yora ela bira no se llama un Pride performance concert. Camino
So it's a little bit more than
artistas local LGBTQIA+ artists e allies ng tambe to biniri no scenario junto ke drag queens e perform, canta, celebra Pride, canta canción ang conocida in a community pa kuda give us strength and fortitude pa pusa por sigi mostra ko hey por expressar quem momesta e pa futura geração ng tambe sinti ko hey I can be who I want to be.
Yes.
Anto essa lo qual Pride on Stage ta eta celebrating diversity anto 13 gente junto and to foster inclusion by means of arts and culture.
May just get a side note on a idea di man yung drag. Of course, lokal ko ta awendia riba so men sa akbira man un genre riba so men sa eigenlijk ding performance arts eigenlijk. Pero idea di drag in itself not algo novo. Anytime ko batawak history, for example, ibatawak kung teater tatawaro hasi antes, eigenlijk full idea di theater in general totoo male only art form.
Yeah.
Anto tata normal y by no means hena mujer para participar. Dus hena hammer ng tao ta take up the roles ng di hena mujer tame. Dus idea ko ita algo novo, of idea ko ita algo qua bing ding ultimo ayan nang absolutamente no verdad.
No, I think the art form developed itself,
yes,
definitely.
Into more of like a...
It's always been a thing.
Yes, exactly. Dus mi kapa nos para que tu ribe sei tame ko avendia e diferencia ta ko basta people take the power in it from being something ko tota super exclusive i ko ta echt wara usa eigenlijk pa man undermine a group of people of pa no laga otra gente não participate. It's taking that power and hasi algo miho com ele, hasi algo mais positivo com ele eigenlijk. E me creio que é importante para nós para que tu na esse que tem hobby coisas que we are so surprised about sometimes. E me bisa we as in society. Pero it's just a modern form of something else.
See, I think also sometimes people mistake the concept of sexuality and gender also.
For sure.
So someone who is a drag performer does not mean that they're transgender. It does not mean they're gay.
It does not mean they're gay.
That's not at all. And I think a lot of people link that like, oh, he wears a dress, so he wants to be a woman, and he's also gay then. And that is not how this whole concept works at all. These are artists, these are performers who express themselves in a very free and loving and fun way.
Siguro, to say something controversial.
Okay, go.
Oh.
Okay.
¿Vos conocés la película Mrs. Doubtfire?
No, me no.
Mrs. Doubtfire did Robin Williams?
Robin Williams, yeah.
Okay.
He
I
wears
know,
a dress.
I know.
That's the clue.
Me just karbisa ko.
Medea.
Mi santo, it's like I know that these are all.
Medea, right?
Anto, nato comedy films. Anto, maybe this is the moment where y'all learn a little bit about me. I'm not into comedy much.
But not tayo funny?
No. Mani, minuto ko pronde most jokes.
Okay.
So I'm not a comedy person. So it's like I know what you're talking about, pero no po bisa ko mawake, no sa storyline.
Well, it's more, I think the point is that Robert is trying to make is that we swallowed that movie up when we were kids also.
Yeah, in Medea as well.
These were men.
Say me sa Medea,
These were
a
men
bunch of
dressed in ladies wear. This drag.
And it's funny, right?
Hot chicks.
Hot chicks. Yes. White chicks.
White chicks.
Yes.
The
That
hot
one I
chick
do
or
know.
white chicks?
Yes.
You have to choose.
White chicks. This
white
is
chicks,
another form of drag también.
Claro.
Pero hopi gente no está consciente de essa e pasar de outro setting.
Pasa no te voy a presentar as drag. Ando me quiere ko esita nuance ko ta bin ko nele. Although it's the same thing happening, kung ita voy a presentar ta diferente. Dus ora ko bisa bijvoorbeeld RuPaul's show, you know that it's going to be about that. You know what you are going to expect. Anto basa ko ta baiting. Dus hena ta make un conscious choice. Ina ta bisa ya, mino ka wake pa sobra I'm not okay with that. Pero nanta guli tour film di Medea si. Paso nanta bunch, right? So I mean, si. Nanta mani nanti number, same sa.
No, you're absolutely right.
But
But I think talking about that, about those misconceptions, is also why I'm going to go back to Cultura, guys.
Yeah, go.
Is also why this year we decided to expand our event. So Pride on Stage, we celebrated, we had fun, it was colorful, we danced, and it was music, and it was super, super, super lovely. But toch was like feedback the public. Okay, listen, love it, colorful, amazing,
great.
But maybe the public deserves and needs to know what we're celebrating and why we're celebrating and how it is to be in the community here and what kind of help there's out there and just how does it work? What are you celebrating? Is it more than men in dresses, or is that just it? So we decided that we need to educate the public as well.
We took all this feedback because we as a community, we are listening.
And I think that is very important.
We are listening, and we took that feedback and we made Pride. We extended Pride on Stage to become a 2-day event with now coming up Pride Talks.
Woohoo.
Road to Understanding.
Roads to Understanding. So it's going to be a 2-day event, and the dates are June 9th and 10th of this year. June 9th being for Pride Talks, and June 10th, Pride on Stage.
Yes.
So we're going to talk a little bit about Pride Talks first.
Yes.
So what is Pride Talks? As we already said, Pride on Stage, initial how it came to be. Well, Pride Talks came from the feedback that we got. Hey, people want to know more. People want to learn more. People want to be more connected and to hear about the community. So that's where Pride Talks came, because we want to talk about it. We want people to hear about it and educate themselves on what it is to be of the LGBTQIA plus community. And June 9th is the perfect day for everybody to come and sit down and listen to what the different speakers that we are going to have, that they are going to say.
Yeah, also so it's no surprise that Robert and I are both in the community, obviously.
Yes.
And growing,
proud.
Yeah, I'm very proud, obviously. But growing up here, it was very hard to find information that I needed when I figured out that I might not be straight. Whatever I thought I was at that moment doesn't matter. Just I knew that there might also be a chance that I also liked women. And everything being so focused on a male and female, get married, get a baby, buy a house, live happily ever after kind of thing, it makes you feel like an outsider. Like you don't deserve to have the information that you so desperately need. I didn't even know that I needed more information. I had no idea. It just makes you feel small and insignificant.
Sí, correcto.
And I mean, we're a little bit older now. We're not in high school anymore, and we figured it out on our own, basically. as you have to here.
Pasuro no ting guidelines ting ang sexual education, sexual education na school for the LGBT
No.
youth. No ting. Tas kung otro pabuhayan sa ayora kung costa bay.
I mean, that at first, also like, how does it even work? But also, what are the risks?
Kiko the risk.
Yeah.
Siguro.
Because we know we have to use contraception when we have sex with a man and a woman, but never was it mentioned that you also need to use that if you're having sex with someone of the same sex, of the same gender. That was never an issue. So, brainstorming about that at Cultura for almost 2 years now, actually, we thought, well, if we are looking for this information, or we're looking for this information, imagine how many people there are out there who also need this information, who
Don't
also
have
feel
access to it.
exactly, who also feel the same way. And now that we're grown up and we have this platform under our butts, why not use it to give the information for the next generation? That
And also understanding that there's so much that goes into it, right? Mi quiere como communities in the urban community, não só be passive. Dus even se nós misterem informação para casina, nós não actively look for it. If it happens to flash right before our eyes, então nós register que there is an organization que trabalha para XYZ, and nós corda maybe when we need it. But for the rest, nós hobby passive. So, que tá passa que hobby a gente não ni durf of não ni sa om para busca passar eigenlijk.
and they don't even know where to start.
Where to start, exactly. And I just wanted to say that there's so much more other than, of course, education on, I don't know if we're allowed to say that word.
Geslachtsgemeenschap.
On
Can we do that?
And intimate relations.
I think
I don't know.
I think
Did
that's like
they say a word I was not supposed to?
I think that's
Yeah,
the official
I am
term,
not
right?
sure. Yeah, but I don't know. Anyways, Alex, si vas escuchando, please láganos up.
What would be the term then?
Pero, anyways,
Relationships with people.
íntimo.
Intimate
Relación
relationship.
íntimo.
Intimate
Ajá,
relationships,
sí,
sure.
sí.
We
Pero,
all know.
pero, tinha sido hobby mais coisas que to go in it, right? A idea de even having questions, a idea de isolation, having tough conversations, etc. There's so much more that people need help with.
Definitely. I mean, a lot of
support
gay
with.
kids come from straight parents. That is, I mean,
Yeah.
logistically
Logistically
thinking,
thinking.
that is how it
Yeah,
works.
yeah. I was gonna say like, yeah.
I mean, of course, there's also gay couples who have got children. Like, please don't think that I don't
Yeah.
know those people
I know, I
exist.
know, I
but
know.
Also possible.
But a lot of gay kids come from straight parents. So figuring out your sexuality or your I don't know how to name this. I'm just going to beep my words. Your parents also don't know how that works because they're not in the community.
They're not in the community.
So
and this is exactly why Pride Talks is so necessary.
It is. We need to talk about these things. We need to inform the public, and we need to also, and that is a very important aspect, I think, of Pride Talks, is open the space to ask questions anonymously. When you're in the crowd, that is both completely fine, but feel like this is a safe space for you. There's no judgment here. You can ask anything, and we're here for you.
Mm-hmm.
We're creating that platform as we go.
Platform, like you
We're writing history as we go,
We are
honestly.
And also having like the right platforms, right? So the youth doesn't always even go to parents regardless
No, true.
of whatever issues they are going through. They don't usually go to their parents. They go to their peers first. That's where young
We
people
get
go.
most of our information.
Yes, they go to their peers. They go to people about their age, and if they feel like a friend knows a little bit more about something, they will go to that friend.
Hopefully they're correctly informed.
Hopefully, most of the times they're not because they are young, and even sinang were informed in a certain way, the brain selects information that it wants to keep and not. Pero bueno, kiko ta pasa ku it's having systems in place, ku ta accessible, ku ta inclusive, kuta welcoming, pa a youth por go and ask questions about anything and everything. Kiko ta pasa ta ku maneira você mencionar, sempre for um parent nunca não arvar algo nang no ting personal first-hand experience, pa não nisa una babai e no ting yung otro trusted adult ku por provide good information.
Good information, sim.
What happens is, or what tends to happen is, ku kosan tabay fault.
Tabing frustration,
Aha.
tabing insecurity,
Yes.
tabing feelings ng arriba, go imitan
Ikuri butik bay pakop essay nang tambe. You know?
But this can be very long-term effect also.
Yes.
And these can be, I'm not saying that our Pride event is going to avoid these things,
No.
but we might be taking a step in the right
Yes.
direction.
And that is the thing. It's taking up this moment to at least pone a basic layer the information. Pone a basic layer di hey, nos no podo na tur information awe over the Turcos, but remember these organizations' names. Basta?
Exactly. That's why we're putting
yes.
these people on stage
Yep.
and showing them like, hey, okay, so these people exist. These people are open-minded. They're informed. They're here to help you. And these specialize in this and these specialize in that. I
Yep.
think Robert's going to talk about them in a bit with a drum roll. But for these people who are in the crowd and watching online or watching it back or wherever you are, if you're listening to it, if you're seeing to it, if you're there, to know that these people you can go to, this is the help that's out there.
This is the information that's available.
Yep.
These are the people that are there for me and that I can go to without judgment. I can ask my questions.
And even if the people there are not the ones that are going to answer your specific questions, they will probably know where you can go.
Where you can
Exactly.
go.
And that is also important. Pasobra, medikita importante ko manema mencionando, sa in different episodes riba sincere career, riba different topic lang, and I know for sure kung not by touch riba two subjects lang kung haya ta relevant and important, it's impossible. Pero
once again,
hopefully,
you're taking a step in the right direction.
but hopefully you hear something or about someone or an organization onde kusibo por bai ko more specific questions iko por yuda guiabo haya information a. And Pride Talks is also doing that, right?
See, also,
Yes.
but you
It is
dabble,
providing
reach
that.
out. But so it's hard to reach out
Yep.
to someone if you're struggling with something. Whatever you're struggling with, to even take the step to approach someone to ask for help is hard. And then imagine you go to the wrong person, and that person says, "Yeah, well, there's nothing I can do
There's
about
nothing I
that.
can do.
Whatever.
Zoek het maar uit."
Yeah, zoek het maar uit. You're never gonna ask for help again. So I think a lot of people are hesitant, which is why we invited Robert.
Yes. Okay. So for those still wondering,
Tell us.
those still wondering, Kiko tabayting dia 9 de Juni na Kasi Cultura, Pride Talks. So Pride Talks tabayta, mi po yamelong seminarium, conference? Kung
What do we call it? I think a seminar would be
appropriate, right?
The thing is, like, we want to highlight the fact that it's very informal.
Het
and
informal
not naman is stijf of nada. It's just like a fun
Hope
conversation.
accessible.
Hope you're
Sim.
accessible. Like, ask your questions. Don't
Sim.
come dressed in a suit, like, kind of thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe seminar is not like
No.
the right word. I wanna say it's like an assembly.
Town hall meeting?
Kind of,
Town hall meeting.
Yeah. it gives off that
The town of
vibe.
gays.
What a time to be alive.
Lotte, non si suppose ta informando hena nandi forma hobby, you know, inviting our
Inviting.
sound on
See.
the town hall meeting for gays.
I
It's
didn't say
not.
town hall meeting. You said town hall meeting.
It is not.
I think
but
it's
clarify
It is not.
real quick. It is
Okay.
not that. Okay.
Okay.
That was a joke.
It's an
Haha.
informative event.
Kiko
Informative
is
event.
It's an informative event.
Kika ito ba ito un informative event kami na nos tabaiting un panel di experto nang hininang konosi ding area di LGBTQIA+ community. I orbi bisasaki king, por ejemplo, nos tabaita contando ku doctor médico, nos tabaita contando ku therapist, psicólogo nang i nos tabaiting conocido transgender ku hasi su transition tambe papapia over di differente tema nang ku ta dry runs di LGBTQIA+. Ormi papia over ormi bisa di differente tema na mita papiando tema nang manera safer sex practices, mita papiando di por example STIs.
STIs coming out. Com o processo etapa, para cada gente é diferente. É diferente para a pessoa que está coming out. Whether que idade, whether se é jovem, ou se é adulto, ou se é gente grande, coming out is never easy. E também focusando em outra parte também, é maior na dia pessoa que está coming out. Hey, meu homem acaba de come out quando não gosta de same sex. What do I do? Que como ita hasi? Una mi provide pa mas
How do I support them the best?
Como ita support nang? Como por ajuda nang pananta mas cómodo ko nang por confia ami como maior pa por explicar me the things that are going inside their head and kung nang ta feel about themselves. It's about creating a safe space pa por dialogar over the topic ko nang ko mitindi bisa honestamente tay na tatabu aki nang naruba.
Highlighting the fact that this is not an event for gay people. It's an event for everyone. Everyone who has an open mind is welcome.
Sì. E mi capisce sei tame, no? So a mencionar diferente ponto nang ku nos quer pensa que nós biba ding silos, ding little boxes nang anto ko communities nota communicate ko outro af ko you know what happens there doesn't affect me. Essa não é verdade. No momento que tem problemática na de uma comunidade, even se não está directly affecting you, está indirectly affecting you. Dus a importância disso, por exemplo, que está praticando para relação íntimo que está mais safe, por exemplo, safer, então pensei nós está make very conscious choice para use that word, safer.
Because fully safe doesn't exist.
Yes. Pero ito hope importante pa informação e waro do na pa sobra even si bota kere ko bosa you might not know anto bokiar por ting informação e pabomens pero pehena nang rondi botame des e tipo de evento aqui porta helpful for so many people e porta helpful pa teachers e porta helpful pa parents pero porta helpful pa mane older siblings ang tambe des bating ko pensa
for friends and family,
yes.
for medical professionals,
social workers,
everyone.
Yes.
Nos eerste lijn daarmee, korps politie, tour grupo ng akin ng please join e evento aqui para siya tiki mas over the comunidade.
Correto. No momento que você compreender, mijo, você compreender, sim, me quer emphasize on this, riba já também. Para compreender que tem coisas que está afetando nós como uma comunidade e no momento que você tem uma comunidade que está mais safe em sentido de mentalmente, emocionalmente, fisicamente, e está no bem-estar de nós tour. No momento que nós por compreender e empatizar com gente melhor, está no bem-estar de nós tour. Se me quer dizer também tá hobby importante para ter em conta na gele. E se você vai que poster também, yes, I am there too. Which is no surprise, right? I mean, me tem hobby importante para sobra. Me te quero que nós tá põe assim no hobby emphasis riba eigenlijk separar gente. E not so much riba e parte ng una ko nós tínhamos needs ang at nós tínhamos questions tang in life nós tínhamos tipo de mane coisas que nós ta deseja para a whole person. Das é hobby importante para genuinely compreender que there might be somebody next to you at work, at school, gente que para wak porta kasi tour dia que gewoon no ting safe person in sua vida para bair na gel e ter conversação nang e mina bisando que bating ubira experto riba tur area anterita safe person pero just ting basic information you could save somebody's life, for example.
And keep an open mind.
Right?
Let's not be islands on
an island.
Smaller islands on a big island.
Correto.
Like we all live here.
E me daquele é faco eta evento que tá grátis, tá hasele example hobby mais bom, hasele hobby mais acessível que nota conta de você não pode afford it and not information que should be getting to as many people as possible.
There's no excuse not to come.
Exactly. You know? So, hace uso de oportunidade aqui para escutar tiki mais, então hopefully assim cresce o conhecimento de nossa realidade na Aruba. Me te quero dizer também hobby importante. So, tem hora não, nós vivemos em globalized world, yay for that.
Yay.
Pero Pero at the same time, nos tiene tendencia na Aruba di focus riba kiko ta pasa afo. Anto share kiko ta going on afo y no pone énfasis suficiente riba no situación local, nos resources ng local, nos realidad local. Das mitahay hobby nice y hobby importante también. Durante el luna aquí si boquear participate as an ally, si boquear bosa ta pendiente, ta consciente y compartir ese purva di haciele as much as you can, so by all means ting hobby information info international hobby great tambe, pero purva di as much as possible share about local resources lang. Paihena nang kuta actually rondibo por wake y hopefully haya information di luganan ko nang actually Mr. J y por bay na jele. So I just wanted to add that. Of course.
I think it's important to say also that not only did we have medical professionals that we've invited and people from the community, but like you said, the Hopi Fundación Dame, there's a lot of organizations that also provide a lot of support for the LGBTQIA plus community.
Support and services.
Yes, definitely. In their own special way, of course, because these all have different goals. So we decided to highlight 3 of these organizations during our Pride Talks event also.
Sí, nos trabalhamos conta com 3 organizações aqui com entre outros Família Plania, que também tem sua informação de Safer Sex Practices. Nós por conta com a organização HIAS. Lotte, explica um pouquinho mais de HIAS,
I think the easiest way to describe HIAS is that Nandahasi hope good work. They are a very large worldwide organization, but I think here specifically they focus on the refugee crisis that we have.
And the migrant community.
Yes, definitely. And they make sure that these people get the help that they need. They get the medicines that they took in the country that they came from as well. And lately I've learned that they work a lot with the community as well for people who, for example, were transitioning in another country and then came here and need the right medicines or the right support, and he has also helps out with that. So I think generally they just fight for human rights in the broadest sense of the words.
That is a huge chunk of what they do. Anto natabata algún episodes pasa kinanang mita echt applaud the work that they do. But sobrang natako above and beyond in making our community a safer place for people ku portabo di otras circunstancias nang no los sinti safe to entre otro manibay for about migrants. Yes, Antonos baiting un organización más to?
Sí, nos baiting Fundación Orgullo también presente para tuna LGBT community mes también un update di con nos para con nos leinan aquí nang paku casamento di same sex marriage aquí nang na Aruban.
Not un discussion novo. We have heard it.
Not un discussion novo.
But we're gonna get an update.
Nos vai update dia aquí nang dinang inanda pa explica com leu e caso ta e pakiko et sina importante. E organização aqui também tem também dia e nanan dia 9 de junho na nos Pride Talks, dus bini um tour anto pa que cultura está passando and to find out a little bit more. Porque misa orgulho também tem na universo programa.
Nanti não par outro simang for sure. Sim, nanti outro simang sim.
Sim, great.
Nós vai papi about mental health, you know, nós vai papi um tiki de inderdaad e impact ku entre outro coming out tini ribon família, não solamente ribe persona, pero ribon família, tudo isso nang das é um interesting episode indeed.
Sim, é um interesting episode e ku também add on to lo qual também tá dia 9 Pride Talks Roads to Understanding.
Yes.
Dus una vez más Pride Talks está dia informativo para tudo gente por binis, nos papel social workers, docente nang, kutanda ku mucha na school, ku hobe nang tambe, police nang donador de cuidado médico também. Bini dia 9, nós também temos um panel extenso de maneira de Lotte pesa doctor médico, psicólogo e nós também toca diferente tema para o qual está LGBTQIA+ community.
Aantal topics could also be touch nos are received from the community as well. Like that's there's a lot of misinformation about these kind of topics, a lot of not information about these topics, I guess. So like taking that in mind, nos kis ito because na ay nos pone ba stage, pa nos po.
Stage. Dialoga.
We can flow with them.
Flow with them.
Yes.
Yes.
E great anoche informativo aqui tá com também tá possível para por fazer pergunta.
Yes, também quero avisar.
Manda por pergunta também, o link não também tá
Anonim, se
também tá possível, assim é anônimo. Dus não tem motivo para não participar.
Correcto. E you know, it's informational. I mean, if you enjoy informational conversations, se bota gusta, por exemplo, the type of contact this is Siri Carolina, mania mi nolo ta involved, si mi nota quero quello thing value, you know. Kono te yamele there's a name to that type of like review.
Pero
yes. Pero basically, same ka bisa. Si bota enjoy these type of conversations, bota enjoy informational stuff, and you like listening to stuff that you can actually do something with afterwards. Mita invitabo so ungi tour pa being a Pride Talks now.
I think
time gratis.
Cultura.
I think time learning is never wasted tampoco.
Right?
It's always good to keep learning new things and have an open mind and just be present.
Even si abo no tabay hasi nada ko information A, si no tabay si abo no tating mester portado yung information A in any way, chances are it will come in handy for somebody else.
You need to have it.
Yes, chances are que somebody else might need it anto boporta ihende iko por ayuda ihende. So you know, in the whole thinking of being more socially responsible and more empathetic, yeah, look at it that way as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Sí.
Hey, Carolina, pa doon un recap di nos conversao e pelo qual ta vai ter el luna de juni. Dus dia 9 Pride Talks Road to Understanding kami nos loting diferente experto ng kuting experiencia ding LGBTQIA+ community dialogando riba differente tema con lo qual toca e comunidad aqui. Turhene turta invita dia 9 eta un free event porta nanta habri 6:30 atividade que começa setor.
Uma pergunta que porta renda tem um age restriction na Pride Talks?
Only Pride Talks não tem um age restriction. So nós queremos informação aqui tá importante para toda gente de toda idade. Não somente jovem, pero maior não também, gente grande. Tem uma outra pergunta, pastora. We all know somebody out there who tá dentro da comunidade.
Yes, awesome.
But do keep in mind that some topics are gonna be touched. We are going to talk about intimate relationships is the correct term I've recently learned. We're going to talk about STIs. We're going to talk about certain medicines you
mental
can take.
Health.
We're going to talk about mental health. So just keep that in mind. And of course, as Kasi Cultura, we always keep it very proper and there will not be any curse words or nothing like that. But we are going to talk about real topics with real people. And we're not going to beat around the bush or anything. So do keep that in mind.
Sí.
Sa ito pa ito, dia 9 de Juni. Pride Talks Roads to Understand.
And that's a Friday.
That's on a Friday.
Yes.
And then comes the fun and celebratory parts.
Because we're also proud and we love it.
We're proud, we're loud, and we love it. And we want to celebrate. We want to have fun. We want to be who we want to be and love who we want to love. This Pride on Stage, a perfect event pa por bini and celebrate who you are. Or celebrate ang otro loved one ko today in community. Dus ito ang atrope. Event na aki nanta pa LGBT community pero ito pa full comunidad being celebrado junto. Bringing everybody together. Ato Pride on Stage ay aki ta konta atrobe ko nos drag queens ng inos ta biting outra artista ng cantando también na Janedi e Agent Similar también ta baitay ka ko ng kansyon e nos ting headlining Syncoustic e banda featuring Jairo también ta baitay ko ta baiting may majority di programa ko ta bay diferente kantika ng ito baita audio visual performance kami na ito algo kubot Mr. Taipa po wakay presencial mes baita show full tremendo hinkade otro mi quero bisa mas grande ko ay
oh yeah, definitely. We have even more people involved. Nos tem DJ tama ko to perform in drag. Nos tem DJ Alexa White ko to hope leuk. We have a really nice MC. Do we announce it yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. No, MC is still secret. Okay, that's secret.
Nos drag queens ng Alan Cock, Dito Fontis, Natasha na tambe tabay tay pa deli tayo po
público e din kung ang show ko ahasi impacto ayon pa sa Carolina.
Yes.
Kung sino wake hin nang enjoy kung a performance na aki ba iriba ng hilchi halto.
The crowd went wild.
Wild.
But it's even more of a statement this year. So we haven't seen it yet, but they've been preparing for a really long time for this.
Nice.
And it's a statement, definitely.
Well, mi just karbi sa turhane ko tabaiting dos actividad ko sa for sure, right? Probablemente tabaiting mas actividad durante Luna and I will share more information once I have that as well. Pero mi quiero ko ta hope importante pa consider ko there's two aspects to Pride Month. There is the informational learner part, una ko nos mas knowledge, nos become more aware and hopefully nos grow nos empathetic self. Pero también a celebratory part, this, celebrate your loved ones, enjoy it ko ng hasi uso di momento aki pa show support. Yes,
siguro.
Ito hobby importante. Yes, ito hobby importante pating mi sempre pisahin no pa sobra ko algo ta afektado directamente kirmean ko ora able me secure about something of que ora so but by support of basta advocate for it mi ta comprendendo no para hasi turcos. I would love to be able to do everything but I can't. Pero si bo por at least husa oportunidad di mani awareness month por ejemplo of mani Pride Month dinge kaso aki pa show some support it's much appreciated, much more than mi quiere ko ever nos mis lo realize.
Just take a moment to stand still and to
Yes.
reflect on other people around you.
And celebrate them,
And
right?
Celebrate them.
Yes. Pride on Stage seating tickets.
Pride on
Portava por
Stage
quickly bisa nós é preço. Anto una hena por haya sa kina?
Sim, Pride on Stage tem small fee com ele de 30 florin.
Okay.
So nos quer bisa turnos artista nang nos ta premio nang pa talento ko nanta 13 on the stage. Dus 30 florin bedrag simbólico e tickets está available na Casa Cultura e Plaza Bookshop na Dakota.
Awesome.
Yes. E nos tindi bisa atividade aqui sim ta G5 plus.
Okay.
Hobe nang mas young por bini accompanied by an adult.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so ito hobby importante. I alabes tayo may karabisa ko nasa baiting giveaways tambe. So tunan during the week and sa Siri Carolina paasina buting a chance gana tickets pa Pride on Stage.
Yes.
And of course, come to Pride Talks. Say si bonoti yung budget, that's fine, pero at least being a say anto siya anto have nice conversations with people.
Sí, a mí there are different people nenos comunidad bini e presencia. No tiene emira professora ainda estigmataico si mi paya actividad aqui na que ben a mitad parte de community.
Sí, please, não nem pensa em você, but please não pensa em você.
Please, stop it.
Sí,
A Casa de Cultura, beating heart de nos comunidade, turhene ta welcome e nanang e
Nossa kasi tuhende.
Kasi turhene.
Yep.
Atividade aqui ta turhene bini uni junto pasinha conhecer din tiki mas education e awareness de local de community e dia 9 vem ganhar mais informação e dia 10 vem celebrar junto com a comunidade também.
Wow, a lovely ending.
Right? Thank you so much for that. It's a nice conversation. We create an informational conversation. Riba, what to expect, right? Durante Pride Month, internationally but also nationally, mi tikira to importante para realize kung aruba sa kita matawaro celebrar iku tabaitin diferente tipo de atividade ang basta kabihayo un taste local que parte di Casa Cultura. Te hobi contento en verdad que Casa Cultura está más activo uno, pero dos di differente forma. Cosa importante para nos progreso.
Happy to have you on board, Tambe.
Awesome. I am happy to be on board.
Looking forward to seeing you on the 9th, Carolina.
Sim, nós tá si joke kanto minabing ko glitter awi.
But you have glitter on your eyes.
Right. Nós tá si joke ayera. Nós tá yung awesome meeting and conversation in preparation for this. This definitely, I look forward to this. Come and show support and learn a little sobra. Again, I wouldn't be involved sa mito hindi ko nulot yung added value to it, but there is so much added value to these types.
There's so much to learn still.
Yes. All right, thank you so much. May karabi sa boso,
Thank you,
Karata.
Carolina.
Thank you.
Oportunidades.
No, thank you,
Always
boso.
a pleasure.
Always.
We'll be back.
in your
Yes, ito
program.
may sige recycle, boso.
Yes. We love it.
We love it.
Dankie na everyone ko atun in. Thank you so much for being nice and kind. Karata nice and kind durante weekend aki, durante simang itur dia ko por. It's an active choice. Ting ora to tiki mas energia ko otro. Karo ko tabay ting volunteers aweri bakay. Just please, if traffic ko tong tiki pega, just be patient. No pita hende anto grita ko fresco. Me just kara bisa say. Itambe as we go into Pride Month is simang aki. See, for whatever reason, but the sinti ko no kiar support anto ko ta sinti ka sa kita algo ko no ta agree with. May karpedibo pa at least ora not a mean during these times. Misa ko porta difícil ting ora pasanos ta hena nang ko diferente tipo de emosyong nang pero may karpedibo pa please make a conscious choice into being a nice person. Thank you so much. Anto, I will be back here next week. Manera I mentioned also about the mental health in regards to the LGBTQIA+ community. Stay tuned. Thank you to Regina and PNG for making these conversations possible. Of course, danke na kula fan pataong inclusive platform ko talaga nos papyatame di tipo di topiko ng aki. So thank you for that. Yes, follow me on Instagram for more information. Sincerely,